So the key word out of all that you just said was to simplify things. So when I was watching this podcast, and it was with a lady named Barbara O'Neill, who's an amazing, she's a vegetarian, which of course I'm a carnivore, and but she's been doing her stuff for decades, and she's so good with homeopathic and like like natural ways to do things.
Uh-huh.
And so, as she was going along and, saying this, and because they were talking about all kinds of subjects with the body. And I recognized when I was starting to get a little more like, oh my gosh, there's so much. But then I said, wait a minute, there are quite a bit of this that she's mentioning that I already do. And so I think that's for myself, that's a real good place to begin when I go into these realms of exploring new information on a subject, especially about my physical body or even spiritual. Like, what are people talking about spiritually, right? Is to simplify it and go, okay, so what works for me? What am I doing right now? Oh, wow, I'm doing this and that. And how does that feel for myself? I think that's a real good way for myself to work because there's so much information out there.
Yeah. And I was thinking this week or, reflecting upon the fact that, what am I sharing about and what am I going through in my life? And it's expanding my awareness of the power that I have as a positive, loving, creative soul, or entity or light energy or whatever you want to call it. And then I say, well, why are we even bothering with these skin suits and, moving through lifetimes? And in my feelings, the answer is always because it's fun. It's expansion, it's awareness, it's all part of the plan. And I feel secure with that. So that's the other true feeling that comes up. Like it's all perfect. I feel secure. So it's important that I tune into that and allow myself to kind of just absorb that feeling. And then as you say, like, well, what am I here to really work with and what's got my interest at this time? So I noticed that, for yourself, the health thing has always been ever since I've known you, alternative ways of looking at health. And, what's fascinating is you're right. You've come across some ideas and, I'm aware of some of at least a couple of your previous lifetimes that you've shared with me. And it has something to do with all that. So you're sensitive to that. You've been in situations where you were surprised at what people were up to, from that perspective. And you've had a history of, as a soul, of being involved in the healing arts and so forth. So there's areas to refine and you're probably, way sure in that area. But I always come back to, we all have different experiences. We're all here to grow in awareness in different areas. And if I get caught up in competition of, even good friends of ours, that I don't agree with, and we watch them react to things, and I go, gosh, they don't even get the facts, and they're just got this opinion right away, which everybody talks about, out in the environment these days. It's not their focus for where their growth is, I have to relax with that and, maintain my boundaries and maintain my presence, but I don't have to get sucked into what their, journey is. You said something to me really interesting this morning that, for your daughters, the way you look at it is, I'm not here to tell you how to raise your babies or live your life. If you have any questions, you certainly can reach out to me and I'd love to support you with my experience. But really it's up to you and how freeing, for those souls you're working with, because whether I like it or not, I can't live somebody else's life for them. And I need to empower them to have their own experiences.
Yeah, to me, that's just about respect. So I respect other people and where they're at. I respect other people and what they're going through. And I respect the fact that if someone would like to ask me about things that I've walked through and how it's benefited me, then I'll be happy to share. But until then, I literally am at the point where I'm only sharing when people are asking me.
And how's that feel?
Oh my God, it feels so liberating.
Yeah.
liberating
Your
that.
true feelings
Yes.
feel that, right?
And I'll say enthusiastic.